So you're a smart business committed to innovation, to service and to modern marketing, and you're asking, what's next? Wondering how you can become even more innovative. My name is Jürgen from InnovaBuzz, and this is the InnovaBuzz podcast, where we share all kinds of tips, advice and interview guests on all things innovation and leadership in modern marketing. Hi innovators, it's great to be back. I hope you've had an awesome day so far. Yes, you are in the right place, it's just we've done a new podcast intro. I hope you like it. It was time for a change since we've used the same one since the beginning of the podcast, and we're now at episode 108. I wanted to talk some more today about the topic of change and also about your business reputation based on some events that occurred to us while we were in Manila last week. Now, things never stand still. Something is always changing, which is why I believe so strongly in the need to keep innovating and staying ahead of change. In the past week, as I said, I've been in our Manila office to farewell one of our team members who's moving to the USA to be with her husband. So a pretty big change. Mavis, who you heard on episode 71 of the InnovaBuzz podcast, will not be lost to us though, as she works to get Innovabiz established in the USA. So exciting times ahead for Mavis, both personally and professionally, and of course, we continue to wish her the very best. And it is exciting for Innovabiz as well. We welcome to our team in Manila, Althea Branosa, who I'm sure many of you will hear from, particularly our clients and podcast guests in the future. Althea is a proud mum of two very smart boys, and she loves travelling and going to the beach with her family. We love her, and we love her enthusiasm and her positive attitude. Now, I'll share some pictures of the visit in the blog post accompanying this episode, and you can see photographs of us welcoming Althea to the office. Something interesting happened to my business coach and I, who was with me on this trip, when we decided on the Friday night to head out for dinner and celebrate having achieved quite a bit during that week. Now, not knowing the city really well, we did what I think most people do when they decide to go to dinner in an unusual place, or if they don't know the restaurants really well. I looked up restaurants on my mobile phone. The restaurants that came up nearby had varying degrees of reviews and were rated quite differently. So, like most people, I think I checked out what their reviews and ratings were. And I wondered, some of them didn't have many reviews at all, like less than 10. And I wondered whether only 10 people had been to that restaurant, which seemed unlikely, otherwise they wouldn't be in business still. As I read through some of the other reviews of the restaurants that attracted our interest, some of them put me off and I dismissed that particular restaurant. Now, it's interesting that I don't know any of the people that reviewed these places, and yet I was trusting of their review and their opinions. We know from statistics that whilst 90% of us trust recommendations from friends or people we know, a startling 89% trust recommendations from perfect strangers if they're made online. This is why eBay and Amazon, for example, use reviews to essentially underpin their entire business model. So I checked out reviews and dismissed a lot of restaurants. There was one there that I thought, that looks good, had the kind of food that I was personally hungry for. And reading through the reviews, I came across this one. The taste of food can then be different. Do not be surprised if you can see the wheelworms passing by the table. Now, that's a literal reading off it. It did say translated by Google, and the person who posted it was Japanese, judging by the Japanese kanji characters in the name. Of course, the thought of worms passing by my table at dinner put me off, and my business coach was cringing next to me. We dismissed that one as well. Ultimately, we went to a restaurant that had plenty of reviews and a 4.5-star rating. I started investigating why reviews are something that restaurants don't seem to place much value on, and yet their customers do place enormous value on it. And the reputation of the restaurant is something that really should be guarded. In fact, any business should guard its reputation with as much energy as they can muster. The great Warren Buffett once said that it takes 20 years to build a good reputation and only 5 minutes to ruin it. Today, with the rapid development of the internet, easy access via mobile devices, that 5 minutes probably is microseconds. In fact, Daniel Priestley in the book Oversubscribed summarised it really well, and I quote from his book, "People talk. Prior to social media, a dissatisfied customer told 11 people, according to the research. Today, a dissatisfied customer might have 1,000 friends on Facebook, several hundred Twitter followers, and their negative review of your business could become indexed on Google and haunt you for years. Conversely, if people see your business as remarkable for positive reasons, all of these factors begin working in your favour. If people love what you do, they can tell thousands of people." Daniel goes on to say that having reviews and getting reviews published online, having your customers tell people about how remarkable you are, actually saves you doing marketing. So it's a modern marketing tool and a really effective one. So question, do you have reviews for your business? Are they good? How many do you have? One of the things to remember is that reviews will show up top of the search when you do a local search, and local search is the default search when people use mobile. And just yesterday I was reading that worldwide now there are more mobile searches than desktop or PC searches. So that's statistics from Google. We really need to address this idea of managing our reputation online and actively taking control of it. Because if you don't control your online reputation, then somebody else will. And they're not necessarily interested in your best interests. Why do people then not do this? That was the question I asked myself with the restaurants. And the answer that I came up with, I think, is that people are a bit afraid. They're not confident enough in their own remarkable nature of the business in providing satisfaction or delight to their customers, so they're afraid that somebody might give them a negative review. And even if they do delight their customers, even if it is an awesome restaurant or an awesome business, there's going to be the odd person that either has had a bad day, or they got out of bed on the wrong side that morning, or they don't like the wallpaper in the restaurant, or something like that that's kind of trivial in regard to how they should be ranking the business, but they take it out on the business by giving them a bad ranking. And so people are a little bit afraid to ask everybody. But my point is, you should get every customer, every client to give you a rating, and make sure that they give that rating in the online space. So the more reviews you have, the higher you will be ranked, and the more positive reviews, of course, you have, the better for your business. Now, there's some restaurants online that have 1 or 2 5-star reviews, and they're sitting quite comfortably because they believe their average 5 stars, they look really great. But the problem is, the first 1-star review that comes in is going to impact their average rather severely. So they should really be collecting more and more reviews and making sure that they're doing a good job. So in summary, reputation management is really critical for any business, because potential customers do search online, they do search mobile, and they consider reviews as key criteria to choose the business that they work with. In addition to that, positive reviews help you rank in the search engines, and therefore they help you get found. Your reputation, a strong and good reputation, is a key part of your brand. Now, I think there's 5 steps in reputation management. It's not just getting reviews. I think the first step is to provide a remarkable service. I mean, if your business is no good, hopefully you won't last very long, but if your business is no good and providing lousy service, then you're not going to get good reviews. So delight your customers. You know better than I how to do that in your business, so I'm not going to speak much more about that. The second step then is to make sure you've got the accounts set up, the relevant accounts. Make sure you claim your Google My Business listing if you haven't already done so. Every business should have that. Then for specific businesses, there may be other review sites that are relevant. So Facebook is a very popular one, particularly for restaurants and for the tourism industry, but also for small business in general. Then there's ones like Zomato, which is the restaurant and hospitality. There's ones like TripAdvisor for travel businesses. So make sure that you have profiles set up on those and that people can access those when they review you. And make sure that your business profile is well constructed on those so that make it easy for customers to find you there and review you. Now, step 3 I call triage, which is going into all the sites, basically doing an online search and checking what reviews are there. You might be surprised, actually. I do a presentation which I've called When What You Don't Know Does Hurt. A lot of businesses find that they've got some less than flattering reviews that they didn't even know about. So make sure you track down all the reviews that are online and begin by responding to all the reviews. So if you've got a positive review there, then thank the person for posting the review. Say something like, we're glad you enjoyed the experience with us. We hope to see you back. If it's a restaurant, for example. With the negative reviews, of course, you should respond as well, but you've got to leave emotion out of it. You've got to put your ego aside and say something like, thank you for your feedback. If it's appropriate, apologise for any bad experience and consider whether you'd like to take some further action to follow up, which means you've got to find a way to get in touch with the person one-on-one. And if you can, take the discussion offline. In fact, work really hard to take the discussion offline or at least shut it down. Now, don't be defensive here because this is an opportunity to improve. If there is good feedback that's highlighting inefficiencies or dissatisfaction with customers from your business, then that's opportunity to improve and you should really welcome that. The fourth step then, and this is one where we can help you, and that's set up a review filter or a reputation management tool. Now, this is a tool that will give you the peace of mind to know that somebody's had a bad day and somebody's out to get you or a competitor's coming in to try and undermine your business, that bad review is not going to go into the public domain. It will come back to you personally as a business owner. You'll then have the ability to work with that person to address any issues and make it right if you can. And the positive reviews get sent through into the public domain, into the review sites that you choose. So that's a really valuable tool because it gives you the peace of mind to ask for reviews from every customer, which is the fifth step that I'm suggesting. Get every single customer, every client for reviews. The more reviews, the more ratings you have, the better. And with that system in place, then you can confidently ask everybody. So make it easy for customers to provide feedback. That includes having easy to remember URL where they can find the review site, perhaps even if it's a store situation or a restaurant situation, even provide a quick response code or some other means where people can just tap their phone and they go straight to your review system. The best time to ask for reviews, of course, is when the experience is fresh in people's minds, perhaps even when they're with you, because then you can have a discussion following up on anything that might be less than satisfactory. Once people leave the establishment, once people finish doing business with you and move on to something else, then they generally are not focused on giving you a review anymore. So the best time is just when they're still with you. Maybe it's when they pay in a restaurant. Maybe it's when you sign off with them on the project that you've just delivered. Definitely use the attention that you have at the time when you're still with them. So with these 5 steps, then imagine how easy and structured. You know how big a fan I am of framework. So this is a really great framework for managing your reputation, and it will mean you're actually in control of it. So you filter out the bad reviews, you get the feedback from those people that are disappointed in what you've provided. You have the ability to improve on those things, and in public you share the positive reviews of people that are delighted with your service. And as Daniel Priestley pointed out in the book Oversubscribed, you'll save yourself a lot of expense and time in marketing. So I hope that story of our restaurant visit and the wheelie worms, I call it the wheelie worms story, it's going to remain in my mind, branded in my mind, and I'm not sure the image is a good one for a long time. I hope that story is of use, and the analogy to managing your business reputation is of value. If you are interested in our Reputation Hub system, which provides that filter, gives you another tool to help in managing your online reputation, then I'll have a link in the show notes underneath the blog post. That's it for today's episode 108. So the show notes will be at innovabiz.co/108. So that's innovabiz.co/108. All lowercase, all one word, etc. You know the drill. I will have the links of the things I spoke about there. And I'll also post some links to a couple of blog posts I wrote about reputation management and online reviews. Stay connected. Head on over to iTunes or Stitcher or Pocket Casts and subscribe to the InnovaBuzz podcast so you make sure you'll never miss another episode. We'd also love you to leave us a review, because what you think matters. Take some of the ideas you've heard today and apply them in your business. Any thoughts, ideas, suggestions or questions, share them in the comments below the blog post. And remember, if you want to get better marketing results than you ever have, join our fantastic LinkedIn community at the Transformational Marketing Academy. All you have to do is go to innovabiz.co/TMAC. It's free to join. Hope to see you there soon. Until next time, I'm Jürgen Strauss from InnovaBiz. Remember to be awesome and keep innovating.